right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tonight, crews are battling a massive fire and triple-digit temperatures at a Metro East salvage yard as the entire St. Louis region battles an excessive heat warning. We'll have more on the fire in a moment. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Temperatures reached 100 degrees today, and it's going to get hotter as kids head back to school this week. We're under a weather alert, so let's get straight over to meteorologist Gary Frank with that Weather First forecast. Gary?
Yeah, and 100 degrees, it's the third time we've hit it all year long, and we can deal with that. We expect it in August, but it's the excessive heat warning that's in place. I want to show you why. Not only these urban areas that don't cool off below 80, but the excessive heat warning is between now through Thursday, and it's consecutive amounts of this. We got to 100 today, not only in St. Louis, but many other spots, and if you didn't get to 100, it's felt like 100. Even at this hour, it's because of the significant humidity. These numbers were much, much higher today. In fact, it was one of the warmest all time when you factor in the humidity, and we'll get to that in about 10 minutes. But I want to look from now to Friday. We have alert days. I've extended it through Friday, even though the excessive heat warning goes to Thursday. It really has to do with the amount of humidity is in place. But overnight lows are not much below 80. It doesn't give your body, it doesn't give anyone that doesn't have AC much of a break, because all of a sudden it's 9 a.m. and it's 90+ degrees outside, and it feels like it's over 100, and that's going to be a big key for us. With highs near 100 for several days in a row, we'll talk about how many in a row we can hit 100 and what we're in a top 5 for in terms of humidity coming up shortly.
And stay on top of this excessive heat warning. You can get the latest Weather First forecast anytime just by texting the word weather to 314-425-5355. Developing tonight, this excessive heat comes as firefighters in the Metro East battle a massive fire at a salvage yard. A large black cloud could be seen for miles, and that fire is still burning tonight. It broke out at an auto salvage yard off State Road 111 in Madison County. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski has been in the area all night, and she joins us now with the latest. Laura.
Mike, crews have been just battling this fire for hours, and they tell me one of the most difficult things is they actually have to truck in all of their water that they're using to battle this blaze. Now, as you said, we could see this from more than a mile away. We could actually see the flames, too, feeding that smoke billowing into the air. Fairmont City Police blocked off Highway 111 about a mile away from the Granite City salvage yard because the fire was just so big. We saw fire crews from New Baden, Troy, and Madison, just to name a few. And St. Clair County EMA tells us they're also assisting. We've seen water truck after water truck coming up to hydrants around town, filling and rushing right back to the fire. They've been in a constant cycle to try and put this fire out. And I actually talked with another fire protection district earlier today about fighting large fires in dangerous heat. They tell me it usually just requires a lot more personnel so they themselves don't get overwhelmed with heat illnesses.
We'll add additional alarms to working structure fires. We'll bring in, there's a first responder canteen that comes in. They bring in additional fluids for us and help us with cool beverages and so on and so forth. We'll also maybe shorten the work cycles that the guys are on. Instead of doing 2 bottles before, or 2 cycles before they go back in, they might just be 1.
We can actually still see the glow of the fire and the smoke billowing up, and behind me you can see those water trucks rotating in and out as they say they're probably going to be fighting this well into the night and even the morning. We still don't know yet exactly what caused this fire. It's under investigation. Reporting live from Madison County, Laura Barczewski, 5 on Your Side.
Tonight, the power is back on in Baldwin. It was out during the hottest part of the day along Manchester Road. Around 2,500 homes and businesses were affected. Several stores, including Target, were forced to close. Traffic lights along Manchester also went out. Ameren, Missouri tells 5 on Your Side the outage was caused by a mechanical issue. The power outage also affected the last few hours of Baldwin days. Vendors were allowed to close up early. The carnival rides remained in operation because they were using an alternative power source. The 3-day festival wrapped up at 5:30 tonight. A live look now at City Park. St. Louis City SC just started the second half of its match against Austin FC. They hit the pitch after the sun went down, but fans still braved the hot sun and sweltering heat for the club's first game in 3 weeks. They came early for a pre-match block party. We saw plenty of fans with water bottles, fans, and towels to try and beat the heat. Tomorrow is the first day of school for several public schools in Missouri, and the triple-digit temperatures on this last day of summer break did not stop parents, kids, and community leaders from coming out for a school block party in Wellston. New tonight, our Paula Besson was there in the middle of the action and has more about that event's important mission.
There's music, free backpacks, and school supplies handed out at this block party in Wellston, celebrating a return to the classroom.
It's great. This is what we need to do to get the community back together.
Nicole Johnson admits the heat will be difficult when she brings her daughter to her charter school.
Because the schools does not provide transportation anymore, so it's on the parents to make sure they have transportation.
She's bracing herself for a 2-hour commute on the bus.
I get up in the morning, take my baby on the bus, and then I go to work.
Well worth it, she says, for an education. For Lawrence, who heads to 10th grade at Normandy High School tomorrow, this event is all about instilling a commitment to education in younger generations.
We got an opportunity to give back to the community that we grew up in.
And this heat isn't keeping these kids away from having a blast, and more importantly, getting excited for an upcoming school year.
But it's not all about having fun. This celebration also stresses safety.
Well, I am in here stressing how important it is to lock up our firearms around children.
A year and a half ago, her grandson, LaFrance Johnson, was shot to death. It happened accidentally by his 10-year-old brother. She says a gun lock would have saved his life. Organizers here say it takes a community to make sure students head back to school safely, prepared, and eager to learn. In Wellston, Paula Vassan, 5 on your side.
A spokesperson with St. Louis Public Schools, which start class tomorrow, tells us that in anticipation of the heat this week, air conditioning has been running all weekend. Outdoor activities will also be limited, and extra water bottles will be brought into all buildings. Students are also encouraged to bring water bottles with them on the school bus. District officials are also encouraging parents to drive their students to school if they can. For more information on cooling centers and how to stay safe in these dangerous temperatures, just text the word HEAT to 314-425-5355 and we'll send it right to your phone. Tonight, Southern California is dealing with 2 natural events. A 5.1 magnitude earthquake was centered near Ojai, which is about 90 minutes north of Los Angeles. Shaking could be felt in Santa Barbara, Malibu, and Simi Valley. No reports of injuries or significant damage. The earthquake comes as Tropical Storm Hilary makes landfall. It's the first tropical storm to hit the region in more than 25 years. Heavy rains have already caused flooding and mudslides, and officials warn the worst of the storm is yet to come. Maximum sustained winds have hovered around 60 miles per hour, knocking down trees and causing power outages. Governor Gavin Newsom has proclaimed a state of emergency.
Certainly interesting times. Tornadoes, lightning strikes. I've got CAL FIRE worried about wildfires because of the winds. Check my phone and learn about an earthquake that originally came in at 6.0. Appears to be close to 5.1. There were over 13 aftershocks just in the drive over in the Ventura region. These are certainly interesting times.
The system is moving towards Arizona and Nevada. Both states are also preparing for flooding. President Biden will visit Maui tomorrow in the wake of those devastating wildfires, and the trip does not come without some criticism from not only Republicans, but residents. Grief turning to anger amid this mountain of loss. 85% of the burn zone has been searched. The fatality count stands at 114, with over 1,000 unaccounted for. Tonight, a North County funeral home is boarded up after a car crashed into the building. This happened at the Austin Lane Mortuary in Jennings early Saturday morning. The driver was taken to the hospital with non-serious injuries. The building sustained extensive damage. Police are still investigating. Well, tonight there are 2 new members of the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Several Redbird greats are on hand for today's induction ceremony at Ballpark Village. The list includes Mark McGwire, Ozzie Smith, Ted Simmons, former manager Tony La Russa. They welcome the late Max Lanier, a pitcher from the 40s, and the secret weapon, Jose Oquendo, to the Red Jacket Club. Sports director Frank Cusimano will have more from today's ceremony later on Sports Plus.
Finding hope.
Hope and pray that everything's going to be normal and normal kid, and then now all of a sudden they tell you that she might not live to be 2.
She was diagnosed with a deadly disease. Now she's thriving thanks to a new treatment. How it's all thanks to you. Finders keepers? Tonight, our Verify team solves the legal mystery surrounding mystery packages that show up on your doorstep.
This afternoon, our heat index, that's the heat plus the humidity, it felt like 115, even higher in some cases. Why this is just the beginning of the heat and why we are so hot each afternoon.
Well, 1 week from tonight, we'll be live from Grants Farm for our annual MDA Telethon, our show of strength to benefit the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And as you'll learn in tonight's Making a Difference report, it's your support over the years that's helped to save the lives of people like the young girl you're about to meet.
About 45 minutes southwest of St. Louis, the landscape seems to unfold without limitations.
Yes, we're a ways out of town.
And calling this place home is a 4-year-old girl with a spirit that knows no limitations.
Go, go, go! Gotta hear it!
Unwavering exuberance.
One
Big
more.
kick, big
Big
kick.
kick.
A kid that, for being a COVID baby, knows no strangers. Everybody's a friend. Oh, which side do you want to go down?
Kenzie Graves' life is a playground of possibilities.
Count us down.
But it's also a reminder of the preciousness of every precious moment. When Kenzie was born, she was whisked away to the neonatal intensive care unit. A few days later, doctors delivered devastating news. The diagnosis, a disorder called spinal muscular atrophy.
It was overwhelming. You're looking at this paper and looking at the child in front of you and reading about this disease, and it's surreal. You don't believe it.
This is Apple Tree Farm.
SMA affects the nerve cells that control muscle movement.
Every day, Poppy takes her
Because the muscles don't respond to the usual signals, they weaken and shrink.
Hey, don't take one in mine.
Oh.
And Kenzie has the most severe form, type 1.
You hope and pray that everything's going to be normal and normal kid, and you're going to do all these things and teach them all these things, and then now all of a sudden they tell you that she might not live to be 2.
Until just a few years ago, this diagnosis would have been a death sentence. But now there is hope. Doctors told the Graves about a new treatment called Zolgensma.
We went into that meeting not knowing what to do. We went out saying, okay, I think we're going to be okay.
You like Peppa? Yeah.
Zolgensma, discovered through research funded in part by the Muscular Dystrophy Association,
Right, you gotta get it to fit right here though.
is given as a one-time infusion to children under the age of 2.
High five. Good job.
It was a gene therapy and essentially provided the gene that she was missing.
It's not a cure, but it's hope.
How is she doing?
Hey, come here.
Really, really well. I'd say beyond our wildest dreams, really. She eventually began walking at 21 months. She pretty closely hit most of your typical milestones.
Out. In.
When MDA was founded, there was barely a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, more than 70 years later, that light illuminates countless lives. And the mission endures to accelerate research, elevate care, and unite families.
MDA provided a community for us. They also provide resources and support.
So Kenzie's family lives every day with gratitude, forever indebted to the compassionate hearts that generously rallied behind MDA's purpose.
You're changing lives, like not even a little bit, like drastically. People like you gave my daughter life, like literally gave her life. Keep trying. There you go.
From limitations
There you go.
Whoa.
to liberation. One young girl inspiring hope for others on her journey of resilience.
And Kenzie and her family will join me live from Grants Farm next Sunday in prime time from 8 to 10 p.m. We hope you can join us then. It was Self-Care Sunday today at Hyde Park in North City. The We Power Weekend wrapped up with yoga and brunch. Three-day event started Friday with a party at the Missouri Botanical Garden. We Power works with Black and Latin-owned businesses and policy groups all year long. Well, the excessive heat has us in a weather alert. Meteorologist Gary Frank joins us now with the Weather First forecast. And today and what we're going to see this week, it's historic, Gary.
It really is. And I think the key for us is we can get this hot. It's not combination with the humidity. You think about how often Miami is super hot and, you know, it's surrounded by the Gulf moisture, but it doesn't really get to 100 a lot. We've combined the two, and we're going to see that for several days in a row. That didn't give our body a break, you know, and the AC is great, but not everybody has access to that. And right now, it's still 87 degrees at 10 o'clock. You know, 10:19, our temperatures are still very warm. Our dew points are as high as they get around here. This is the highest that it gets, and locally, these areas are even higher. And these are not just from local areas next to cornfields. These are airports. These are major reporting stations. And so when you combine that, that's when you get the feels like readings. This is the heat index we so often talk about. Now, you know, locally, you'll see some of these numbers kind of like Afton, kind of inflated. But up to 120 in some of these spots in the city is not out of the question. And officially at the airport, it got to 117 because it was 100 and we had a 79-degree dew point. That was the fourth highest heat index we've ever seen in St. Louis. They've been keeping this record since 1945. We've seen a 120, and that's what we're going to be flirting with all week long. So overnight, it's steamy. There's no doubt about it. You're going to wake up once again, and your AC's on. It's steamy outside. The windows are going to fog up. Expect that the next few days. You know, we're also, on top of that, we're going to add to the orange air quality. We haven't gone down this road in a while, but that's what we're going to see tomorrow from Monday, orange air quality. We're still involved in the excessive heat warning now through Thursday, but through Friday, I've extended the alert day because of the extreme heat and humidity. We'll knock off a little of the humidity on Friday. That's why it's not involved in that excessive heat warning yet. It still may be extended. Our overnight lows are around 80, as I mentioned, and the heat index is over 110. Even pushing 115. One of the reasons why, at the surface, we're seeing this high, which is drawing in that Gulf moisture. So then we go above the surface several thousand feet. We have another high, but this is sinking air. This is very calm air. That's why you saw that smoke in Granite City go straight up. The wind didn't move it at all. The core of that's here Wednesday and Thursday, and then it shifts, and then we finally get out of the extreme heat. So 100 tomorrow, the record high is 104. We're not there. It's still hot. 102, very close to it, and I think we had a good shot of breaking it on Wednesday. In the next few days, you're going to see that significant heat, 102, 103. There's the excessive heat warning, still 100. Probably only feels like 105 as compared to 115. Humidity down a little bit. Temperatures finally down next week. It's hot. It's unbearable, and it's dangerous to be outside for long periods of time, even if you got to go to work or school.
Be careful out there. Gary, thanks. Well, a package you didn't order or pay for shows up at your door. Tonight, we verify if you can legally keep it. A major train derailment caught on camera. Dash cam video captured the moment 22 cars went off the rails in Moore, Oklahoma on Friday. Officials confirmed there was a mechanical issue, but the cause remains under investigation. The train cars were carrying non-toxic plastic pellets, and no one was hurt. This Is Us star Ron Cephas Jones has died. A representative says he passed away from a long-standing pulmonary issue. He won 2 Emmy Awards for his role as William Hill on the hit NBC TV show. His TV son, St. Louis native Sterling K. Brown, posted a tribute on Instagram saying the world is a little less bright. Jones was 66. Have you ever received a package that you didn't order? Well, tonight our Verify team looks into whether you can legally keep it. Here's Brandon Lewis.
Many of us regularly get deliveries on our doorstep, and they're usually boxes filled with things you're expecting. One Verify viewer texted us to ask what to do if you get a package addressed to you containing something you never ordered. So, let's verify. Is it legal to keep unsolicited packages if it has your name and address? Our sources are the U.S. Postal Service, United Parcel Service, the Federal Trade Commission, and the Better Business Bureau. While this scenario of unsolicited deliveries may seem far-fetched, the Postal Service says it does happen. The most common examples are when a company or charity sends you a gift, like return address labels or stickers, in the hope that you'll buy from them or donate. All of our sources say you're under no obligation to do so. You're legally entitled to keep the gift, and the sender isn't allowed to send you a bill later. You can also mark it as return to sender, and the shipping company will send it back free of charge. So yes, it is legal to keep unsolicited packages if it has your name and address. The BBB says there are a few instances when you should be concerned about unsolicited packages, like if you're getting multiple packages without a return address. This could mean you're inadvertently part of what's called a brushing scam. This is when online sellers ship you an item and then use your name to write fake reviews. If this happens, notify the retailer and check your accounts with them to make sure someone isn't using your account to post reviews. With your Verify, I'm Braden Lewis.
Let us know what we can verify for you. Send us an email to verify@kstk.com. A big weekend for St. Louis rapper Nelly. The historic gig he booked ahead of his state fair performances. Tomorrow, the Dome at America Center will be transformed into a beehive. Beyonce is bringing her Renaissance tour to town. Tickets are still available. We saw some for as low as $31. Nelly is wrapping up his state fair tour, performing tonight at the Illinois State Fair. St. Louis rapper has been named the headliner for the first ever Big 12 football championship game halftime show. He'll perform with marching bands from the participating schools during the December 2nd game at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And St. Louis is among the 50 most overworked U.S. cities. That's according to a new survey from Finance Buzz. They looked at the number of hours worked, commute times, retirement ages, and the number of workers with a side hustle. Washington, D.C., Denver, and Austin round out the top three. Kansas City ranks 8th, St. Louis 24th. Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps, is, according to this poll, the least overworked city. And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis, beginning at 4 a.m. And now here's Frank Cusimano in Sports Plus.